Well, that was one of the best fights of the year to date, without a shadow of a doubt. Brad Ray defeats Shakan Pitters via unanimous decision. Very close on the cards, though. Very, very, very close fight. Two cards had it 115 to 114. Other card had it 115 to 113. I believe that's right. I scored it 115, 113 to Brad Ray. It was a very tight and close fight. But I think Brad Ray definitely nicked it. He definitely nicked the fight. He definitely did enough to take it. It was a very close and competitive fight, but I feel like it was a very close and competitive fight that Brad Ray definitely just got the edge in my opinion. And I feel like that was clear for most people to see. But it was a very good and competitive fight, which I would be very happy to see again. And Brad Ray deserves a lot of credit for that win as well. Moved up 2 weight classes for this fight and succeeded. Succeeded very well. Pitters has only lost to good fighters. And, Brad Ray is now one of them. Craig Richards was one of them, Dan Aziz, and now Brad Ray. He's only lost to credible fighters, Shakan Pitters. And Brad Ray's completely different since that Tyler Denny defeat. He would definitely beat him now, and he's a heavier man than him. But look, Brad Ray started very well and ended the fight very well. Shakan Pitters was good mid-rounds, and, it was looking like, Shakan Pitters might have paced himself better, but no, in the end, he didn't at all. Brad Ray was way too aggressive. No, I wouldn't say he didn't pace himself well, actually. I take that back. He did pace himself well, and I feel like it was a good game plan from Pitters. Brad Ray was just simply relentless. Just simply relentless. He kept on stinging Pitters. It was deadly. He was deadly in there. He was very deadly in there, Brad Ray, to be honest with you. Didn't keep away from him. And, Brad Ray was always landing the better, cleaner, harder shots throughout the fight. Pitters was all right at, making walk onto shots, and Pitters tried to pick his shot from range well here and there. But a lot of the fight was up close in the pocket, though, and Pitters was able to get some good success to the body, and Pitters was going in with some good, solid volume. But Brad Ray would come back after some decent volume shots from Pitters. Brad Ray would just come back and absolutely smash the living daylights out of the brain of Shakan Pitters and eventually be able to take advantage of that and really, get in the judges' heads and make them score that round to him due to the massive shots that he was constantly able to land on Pitters. He was just very good at shutting down the range, Brad Ray. He was very good at shutting down the range throughout the fight and didn't let Pitters get loads of full extension throughout the fight in his shots. I feel like Pitters had a very good 5th round, and that's where he started to take over, getting a bit more fluidity at range with his work. First 4 rounds, Brad Ray completely shut him down and got the fight in the inside, which is what he would have wanted. And late on as well, Brad Ray got him mid-range up close, which is what he wanted, and made Pitters fight his fight. When Pitters was tagging Brad Ray in those middle rounds and winning those middle rounds, Brad Ray was never overly shook up by the power of Pitters. Pitters was good at being able to get, a long-range uppercut in here and there, and was good behind his shadow trying to get his straight backhand going in those middle rounds. But Brad Ray would shrug it off and keep coming forward and try and bully Pitters up against the ropes or bully him in the clinch in the middle of the ring, get the better of, the odd exchanges in the inside. It was a very good, entertaining fight. It was a very good fight. And GBM are always, at the moment, they're very good at putting on these very good main events. It's good to watch. It's very good to watch these GBM shows at the moment. I'm really enjoying them, and that main event was a big reason why. That main event was a big, big, big reason why. I mean, look, I think Brad Ray started well. Pitters came out middle rounds, and again, it was also competitive late on as well, but Brad Ray managed to nick it more as it went on in those later rounds. And again, it was close. I feel like there were rounds that were difficult to score, but as the rounds went on, though, Brad Ray would just always do that a bit more than Pitters towards the end of the rounds. You know, first 2 minutes, for example, of a lot of those rounds, especially in those later rounds, a lot of them were, you know, they were hard to split for those first 2 minutes. Then we go into like the final minute. Brad Ray's putting on the pressure and putting on the volume. Or if he's not putting on the volume, Pitters is putting on the volume, but Brad Ray's countering him with some massive shots and winning over the judges, winning over the fans with the work he was doing. And that's what you have to do. That's what you have to do. A lot of what people say is it's very important to take that last minute of the round. The last minute of every round is very important to get your work in, because that's the last bit of action. And Brad Ray was very good at that. Adam Smith was saying, "Oh, Brad Ray, you know, he might not pace himself well like in the middle rounds, but he paced himself well. He paced himself well in the rounds. He took it round by round, paced himself well. Late on in the rounds, it was mostly always Brad Ray, about 98% of the time, always taking the later parts of those rounds. It was. Unless I think the rounds Pitters won, though, Pitters was dominating for those first 2 minutes, but then Brad Ray would come back in the last minute or so. But then it's like Pitters might have done in the rounds Pitters won. Yeah, he might have done that bit more in that first 2 minutes. But Brad Ray always came back with something towards the end of the rounds, and you know, he was always able to stun Pitters with something, to be honest with you. Brad Ray was stunning Pitters quite a lot. Pitters was, you know, getting some good success with his volume, but I don't think he massively affected Brad Ray with his power. And that is surprising as well, because Pitters is the naturally bigger man than Brad Ray. But Brad Ray, a lot of the time, was able to outman and outstrength Shakan Pitters in those clinches and up close on the inside. It was very good to see from Brad Ray. He was able to use Pitters' own attributes against him. It was a very good performance from Brad Ray. He deserves a lot of credit from that. The way he came up and weight and was able to put on a performance like that, very, very, very good. Anyway, thank you all for watching.